Love it or hate it, there's always room for improvement. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things we want to see in a Venom sequel. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at storylines, characters, and other elements that should be incorporated into the next Venom movie. Number 10. Improved action sequences.
I don't know. Why would we do that?
From a production standpoint, the visual effects team did an impressive job bringing the titular anti-hero to life. You'd think this would pave the way for several fun action sequences, but Venom really only has one set piece that stands out. The motorcycle chase is fast-paced, well choreographed, and makes effective use of Venom's powers. Everything else, meanwhile, feels like it came off a CGI assembly line. Venom's climactic battle against Riot is especially disappointing, as we can barely tell them apart. Then again, the action in Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie could get hokey at times too, but the filmmakers took a huge step forward in the sequel. Here's hoping Venom 2 does the same. Number 9. Hints of what's to come.
If you're gonna stay, you will only hurt bad people.
In addition to Venom, Sony reportedly has the rights to about 900 Marvel characters. So naturally, the company is aiming to get their own shared universe off the ground, with Venom acting as a launching point. Yet outside of a post-credit scene, Venom didn't really tease upcoming projects. Sony has announced plans for standalone movies centered on Black Cat, Silk, Jackpot, Kraven the Hunter, and Morbius the Living Vampire. A few subtle Easter eggs hinting at what's to come would be more than welcome in the Venom sequel. Of course, we wouldn't want Sony to go overboard like they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which teased a Sinister Six movie that never got made.
How many men did you have in mind?
I want to keep it small.
Number 8. A balanced tone.
Is that a threat?
With a critical rating of 30% and an audience rating of 88, Venom is one of the most polarizing superhero movies of recent memory. This can largely be attributed to the film's tone, which some people complained relied too heavily on comedy.
Hey, can you turn your music down, please? Because I'm having a really hard time.
Whatever.
Granted, the MCU movies all maintain a playful sense of humor, even when things take a serious turn. Venom, however, feels like it's trying to be an edgier alternative to the MCU. It can understandably be off-putting when the film shifts from being dark and gritty to essentially being a romantic comedy.
So many snacks, so little time.
Since Ruben Fleischer previously made Zombieland, we feel he can find a stronger balance of comedy, drama, and horror going forward.
That'll do, pig.
That's the worst goodbye I've ever heard. And you stole it from a movie.
Number 7. Stick to the comics. Due to the absence of a certain web-slinger, Venom and Eddie's backstories in the movie don't follow the comics to a perfect T. Considering the limitations the filmmakers had to work with, though, they still made a respectable effort to remain faithful to the source material. They even borrowed from a few popular story arcs, most notably Lethal Protector and Planet of the Symbiotes. As for which comic storylines we'd like to see adapted in the future, The Enemy Within not only has the potential to be a great Venom movie, but also a fun crossover event. Based on the first film's mid-credits scene, however, it's safe to assume which story arc they'll tackle next. Number 6. More She-Venom.
Are you gonna behave yourself tomorrow?
Although the character easily could have been nothing more than an archetypal love interest, Anne Weying evolves into an active heroine, with Michelle Williams giving an overall strong performance. At one point, Anne even comes into contact with the symbiote, leading to a pretty cool minute or so where we finally get to see She-Venom in action.
You have no idea how much you're scaring me right now.
That being said, She-Venom is only on screen for a minute or so. We know the movie's called Venom, but couldn't the filmmakers have dedicated a little more time to the titular character's female equivalent? Ruben Fleischer has expressed interest in exploring She-Venom further in a sequel or standalone film, which we'd totally be on board for.
And I've actually only ever had one girl come up to me and say, like, She-Venom, man, that is so cool.
Number 5. Stronger character motivations.
You had to learn how to hide in plain sight. I'm pretty good at it.
Venom has a multi-layered character arc in the comics that could have been spread over multiple movies. Instead, the film condenses much of his growth into 112 minutes. Over just a few days, he goes from being an average alien with little regard for human life to an anti-hero who wants to save the Earth. Since this change is so rushed, Venom's motivations feel muddled, and could be better fleshed out in the sequel. For that matter, we never really understand why Venom becomes so attached to Eddie. Granted, Venom briefly explains that he relates to Eddie because they're both losers, but in what universe would the awesome Venom and the amazing Tom Hardy be considered losers?
Look into my eyes, Eddie. The way I see it. We can do whatever we want.
Number 4. A rift between Eddie and Venom.
Do we have a deal?
The dynamic between Eddie and Venom was certainly a highlight of the film, with Tom Hardy delivering an over-the-top dual performance. Their relationship should remain the focus in the sequel, although it would be a lot more interesting if the two weren't so in sync. Venom is easily persuaded by Eddie to only hurt bad people, and Eddie doesn't seem at all fazed when Venom straight up murders robbers or henchmen. What if Venom took things too far and turned on Eddie, creating a Jekyll and Hyde scenario? This would also play into the addiction aspect of the symbiote suit, as Eddie tries to battle his inner demons, but constantly succumbs to the power Venom offers.
We are Venom.
Number 3. Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
You want to feel how hard I can punch?
Venom gave us a taste of what to expect in the sequel, with a surprise appearance from Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. A psychopathic serial killer, Cassidy makes it clear that Carnage looms on the horizon. His screen time might be short, but Harrelson has a ball with his cameo, and we can't wait to see more of him. If Cassidy is indeed the sequel's villain, there's little doubt that the film will draw inspiration from the Maximum Carnage storyline. This comic sees Venom team up with an assortment of characters Sony actually has the rights to, such as Black Cat and Morbius. There may be one notable omission though. Number 2. Spider-Man.
I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Spider-Man 3 sadly may go down as the only live-action film where Spidey and Venom interact. An agreement with Marvel allowed Spider-Man into the MCU, but his role in Sony's universe remains uncertain. Since Spidey has such strong ties to Venom and several other characters Sony has the rights to, it'll be a missed opportunity if he never shows up. At the very least, Venom 2 could give us an Easter egg hinting that Spider-Man might, just might, appear down the line. It's actually been rumored that Venom was rated PG-13 to leave the door open for a Spider-Man crossover, suggesting this tangled web could be unraveled someday.
Never wound what you can't kill.
Number 1. An R rating.
I'm hearing a voice.
It was speculated for the longest time that Venom would be rated R. Much to the disappointment of some fans, the film's violence and profanity were tame enough to warrant a PG-13 rating. WatchMojo made an entire video explaining why the Venom sequel needs an R rating, if you want a more in-depth analysis. In a nutshell, we want to see a darker, unchained version of Venom who does more than just bite off a couple of people's heads. We understand that Sony may want to take the PG-13 route so Spider-Man can eventually swing in. However, if Deadpool can coexist with the PG-13 X-Men films, why can't Venom 2 be rated R?
No, I am not X-Men material at all.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.